everybody, and welcome to Old Roommates. Today on the show, we revisit the 1989 original Batman. So slide on into the Batcave and get ready.
Oh, Brian. Welcome, everyone, to Old Roommates.
I was going to say... okay.
The only podcast that revisits pop culture through a middle-aged lens. Before you say anything, you know what people call the Batcave, right?
No.
When someone's picking their nose.
I have never heard that.
Yeah.
Say that again, because I don't know if that came out.
It's when people, have something in their nose, they say, oh, you gotta check the Batcave.
What?
Yeah.
If anything, they should say Robin the Batcave. Or Robin... No?
I don't know. Anyway,
what I was going to say is slide down the batpole. It's fine.
The sliding part. Okay. So anyway, it was very nice, Brian.
Thank you.
So anyway, yes. This is Christina.
And this is Brian. Welcome to Old Roommates. Christina already did our little tagline. Mm-hmm. We are revisiting Batman. It's been a week, you guys. Not gonna lie.
Gosh. For
Christina
both of
and
us.
I know. We had this hour chat about our weeks. So if you're going through something this week, just know that you're not alone. It was not a good week.
In fact, you know why? We should have had alcohol or something for this episode.
We should have.
We deserve it after the week that we had.
We should have. Well, we talked about, maybe we'll do that when we, maybe we'll revisit When a Man Loves a Woman and get drunk. And get drunk first. So, alright, Batman 1989. Yeah, so if you've had a bad week, just know you're not alone.
You are not alone.
Next week will be better.
Yes.
Alright, so, Christina, let's hear it. 1989 now. As we do, we're going to talk about then. Mm-hmm. And then we'll jump into now. So then, 1989, Christina and I have not talked about this movie.
No.
Batman. Christina, what was going on? When did you see the first time?
1989, I saw it for the first time, actually the only time up until today, up until this episode.
Yeah.
In the movies.
Okay.
I'm sure, I don't remember who I was with, but I'm sure it was some sort of, let's just... a boyfriend probably wanted to take me to this thing, and I said, okay, fine. Because this isn't typically a movie that I would watch. Mm-hmm. I'm not a big fan of this type of movie. It was better than what I had expected, mm-hmm. but I remember it, my memory was more, it was dark, physically dark. Mm-hmm. The sceneries, it just seemed very, very much like everything was in the shadows, which obviously is intended. Mm-hmm. And that wasn't a great feeling for me. I'm not a big fan of, I feel like we've talked about that before. I'm not a big fan of the dark kind of movies. So I wasn't a huge fan of this movie. I think I liked it a little bit. I remember thinking that Jack Nicholson was my favorite part of the whole movie. And he made the movie. But back then, Michael Keaton did not do anything for me. Kim Basinger was annoying to me. So all in all, I wasn't a big fan of this movie. And I never watched it since. It wasn't something I ever wanted to watch again. What about you, Bri?
Thank you for asking. But you're not a superhero movie. You said that this kind of movie. Do you mean in general, superhero type of thing?
Exactly, yes. The superhero thing. I mean, yeah.
Because when this came out, the whole idea was that it was a darker kind of way, to your exact words. Mm-hmm. It is a physically dark movie. It's a lot of darkness and steam coming up from every crevice of Gotham City. Mm-hmm. 1989, I did also see this at the movie theater. I wonder if I even saw it twice. I don't remember, because here's the thing. I actually really loved it. Mm-hmm. I was just blown away by the cinematography and the sets and this darker vision, and just thinking this is what happens when adults adults tell a superhero movie.
Sure.
A superhero story. And but I remember really liking a lot of it. I remember liking Jack Nicholson. I remember liking how dark and grim it was, and that Batman didn't have superpowers. He didn't have super strength. Mm-hmm. And I remember really liking Kim Basinger as the damsel in distress, and a lot of it really worked for me. And I think I even loved that Bat Dance song, the Prince song. Remember Bat Dance?
God. I was shocked, honestly. not to take
no, go ahead.
Then
yeah.
I was shocked when I saw songs written and performed by Prince. I'm like, what? Because I'm a huge Prince fan. Yeah. Never knew that was happening in this movie. Yeah. So clearly I wasn't. I didn't. I mean, you can obviously hear him in the movies. Like it's not like it's hidden.
No, I know. Well, please, those scenes where the Joker is dancing to Prince, a Prince song, and that is the scene.
Right.
That's it. That's the whole thing. Yeah. His music is used throughout. Obviously, Danny Elfman, was a longtime Tim Burton collaborator. So that Tim Burton obviously made this film. Blah blah blah.
I forget what you said. Did you see it in the movies?
I did.
You did.
I think I even saw it twice. I definitely know I've seen it more than once. I definitely saw it for the first time in the movie theater. Maybe when it came on. But I'm telling you, I probably had the VHS tape. I really liked it. I liked the darkness. So there's some, I think, some disagreement.
Yeah. That says a lot about you.
Thank you.
You like the darkness.
Okay. Now we can jump into now. Christina, your immediate takeaway. When the credits rolled, you said...
So there was, again, I wasn't a big fan of it before, so I didn't really know a lot about it in terms of, like, the director and the music and things like that. So when I'm looking at the credits, I'm like, oh, cool, it's a Tim Burton.
Yeah.
Oh, cool, Danny Elfman. Like, I was... pleasantly surprised, and pleasantly surprised too, about the collaboration that made this movie. My initial thoughts so I was happy about that, and then when the scenes start happening, somehow I don't know. Maybe I don't know what was going on when I first saw the movie, because it really took me by surprise that it was so comic book like in the scenes, in the costumes, a lot of the dialogue and a lot of the relationships, very, very comic book-esque. And it went over my head when I first saw it, in the movies. Maybe I was just infatuated by whoever my date was. I don't know what was happening. But anyway, I really appreciated that part of it. It took me a little bit to get used to. I'm like, oh, okay. And then I'm like, this is actually kind of cool, the way that they're actually making it more of like a comic book come to life.
Give me an example, because I really feel differently about that comment.
Interesting. So the first thing I noticed was just like it must have been like the lieutenant or the captain, the police,
commissioner,
whoever it is. Yeah. They all show up, and of course it's all dark. Of course, the staging seemed very comic book-esque, almost like you could almost like draw the buildings behind it with the lighting and things. And I'm sure that this was very Tim Burton-ish. Who's comic book?
Yeah, he's
anyway.
he's
going to be like that anyway.
Yeah,
but he comes out and he's in like the long trench coat and the hat, reminding me very much of like Dick Tracy.
Okay.
And everybody that was around him was dressed the same way. In fact, the first time I saw him, I thought, "Ooh, why is he dressed like that?" And then after I got used to it a little bit, I'm like, "Oh, because he's like a comic book character." And then once I got into that mind frame, everything started looking that way to me, and I appreciated it more, and I actually liked it more, and I was more forgiving of some of the holes in the movie because of it, because I kind of thought of it as a comic book.
Now that you explain it that way, I agree. I remember initially the rewatch that I was like, what is the era of time?
Right.
Because it starts off, and to the movie's credit, it starts off, you think, at least I did, I didn't remember this, you think you're about to watch the murder of Bruce Wayne's parents.
Yes.
And it's not. It's just like some wealthy people and their son that they get mugged by these thugs, and then Batman shows up, and it's the whole big, I'm Batman, which still gives chills. Which is to say, my immediate thing was, it's funny, not so much the comic book element stuff, but it's the over characterizations of certain characters. Some of my first notes are the Lieutenant Eckhart. he basically, it's like, sorry, Knox, these two slipped on a banana peel. When he finds, like, the... Do you know what I'm talking about?
I know the scene, yes. I didn't remember that line.
Yeah, I reckon it's like, he had a bowl of gravel for breakfast. Like, his voice, and honestly, like, I was like, oh my god, does he become the Penguin? Like, you know, it's was that the original? Because he's so, like, Danny DeVito-ish. But,
But that's, and that's kind of this whole, like, comic book persona.
Yeah, yes, and Jack Palance also has a weird way of speaking. Like, he's like, so he's talking to Jack Nicholson's character, whose name is Jack. And he says, Jack, I need someone I can trust. And he says, your luck is about to change. I'm like, what is with these line readings? Like, and sometimes I wish it was a comic book so I don't have to hear the voices. Like, because there really are... like, rough characterizations.
Well, and can't you imagine, like, thinking about it as a comic book, right? Imagine that scene with Jack Palance.
Yeah.
Can't you imagine how it was drawn out and how the words are written?
Christina,
like,
you're not going to be surprised by what I'm about to say. You're right.
Oh, Brian, it's been a while since I've heard that.
Yeah. There's a lot of like, edges in this movie. Like, a lot of shots that are, like, very... like you're saying, the skyline and stuff like that. But even like window panes and all this kind of... There's a lot of hard edges that could, in essence, sort of deframe all these scenes. And now that you're saying that, I can with the costumes and stuff.
Yeah.
To that regard, I think when I thought comic book, I was thinking more colorful. Comic books tend to be, I think, colorful. But like, like for example, like the X-Men comic book, I think they're wearing like a little more colorful. In the movies, they're dressed more darkly. But so it's like, I think that's where my mind went when I heard colorful or comic book. Sorry, but I have to be honest. I struggled a lot with this movie. I found it a bit wayward. Where I don't know. I think because I was just younger and excited about Batman that I gave it a pass on a lot of things. One of my biggest negatives, if we can just jump in.
Sure, yeah.
Kim Basinger. Ugh. Do you know how many times Kim Basinger screams in this movie?
A lot, because I remember writing down, like, oh, she's a good screamer. But it's throughout the whole entire movie.
Jesus Christ, she screams every 5 seconds. I looked it up. I'm like, someone definitely counted this. Because it's like, at one point I paused it. At one point I paused it. It was like, she has screamed about 5 times in this one scene. So I'm going to pause it and I'm going to Google how many times does Kim Basinger scream in Batman. 22 times.
Oh my God.
Why did she ever think reading the script? Well, so, a little bit of history. Sean Young was supposed to be Vicki Vale.
Oh, I remember this. Sort of vaguely. Tell me more.
Get this. She fell... So they were filming... Sean Young was hired. They were filming. She was doing some sort of... They were filming a scene like riding horses, which, of course... doesn't happen in the final
How would you ever end up with a scene in a Tim Burton...
Well, maybe the man, like Bruce Wayne, like his estate, maybe he has horses or something. But she falls off during filming. She falls off the horse and hurts herself. She breaks her collarbone.
Oh my God.
So they're like, oh my God, quick. They went to Michelle Pfeiffer. They wanted to go to Michelle Pfeiffer. Michael Keaton said, no, we just broke up. Or she's an ex, it would be, I don't want to do that. Yeah. Then they're like, well, we need someone really fast. Kim Basinger, she said, sure. So maybe she didn't have time to really read the script. But what I found so frustrating with Vicki Vale is she is introduced as this war scene photographer. She's photographed burning corpses. She's been in war zones. And in about 4 minutes, she is wearing a wedding dress to a cocktail party and screaming.
I
just talked to
I just wrote, what the hell is she wearing? A prom gown? A white prom gown? Like, I don't understand what that's all about.
It's a gown. I mean, it's like a wedding dress.
It was absolutely a wedding dress or some sort of... I almost said wedding dress. See, I wrote...
Because this is what...
W-E-D-D and I crossed it out prom gown. So, she is by far my least favorite character. I wish she never even existed in this movie.
Yeah.
I will say, I liked her at the beginning
Mm-hmm.
I liked her so... She was so much more appealing and attractive when she was smart.
Mm-hmm.
Right? She was at this, it was a newspaper room or whatever. Where was she?
Yeah.
When you first see her, the reporting, whatever. She's bright, she's smart, she's quick, she's confident.
She's wheeling and dealing.
She's
the
amazing.
minute she opens her mouth, she's making deals with that reporter.
Right?
Yeah.
She's super, I think, a very attractive character.
Mm-hmm.
The minute I don't even know, when she steps out of that building, she turns into this damsel in distress in the worst possible way. She's stupid. She's trying to be coy, and she's naive, and she's every time she was on the screen after that, I was like, oh my God, get her the hell off of my screen. Could not stand her. Ugh.
I'm afraid, I feel like we should almost do a special episode of just Kim Basinger's role in this, because it is so bad, and I actually feel bad. I don't necessarily think she's bad. I think she's just doing what the movie tells her to do, and she's doing the best she can. I think she is I think it's funny because the screams got old real fast. I'm like, why? Who thought that her screaming so much? She screams over Christina. How about when the Joker is holding a little toy gun, right? And he shoots it at himself as a joke, and it says bang. The thing pops out and says bang.
Right.
There's a good second there, and then she screams.
Yeah.
It's the timing's weird.
It was definitely one of those things where in the script it said scream.
Scream.
27 times,
Vicki,
right?
It probably says Vicki screams.
Vicki screams. But, yeah, it's such one of the least appealing characters. So that part of my memory is correct.
Yeah.
I did not like her then. I didn't like her now. Although I was surprised that I liked her in the other roles. And what was funny, too, is she would... there's all these scenes with Michael Keaton and with Batman and with the Joker, right? Every scene with them, she is nothing but, this little,
damsel in distress.
Weak, annoying character. And then she steps back into her role as a photographer, and she's smart again.
Yeah.
So I liked her when she was actually a normal person and dressed normally. Mm-hmm. But yeah, oh my gosh, least favorite part of the movie. It made my skin crawl every time she appeared.
Also, we can keep going with that because we were talking about their amazing date in which... Bruce Wayne doesn't speak. She's doing all the talking, and then she's she says something along the lines of "Do you usually eat dinner in here?" And he's like, "I don't even know if I've ever been in this room before." And she busts out laughing for some reason. I think he was serious,
right?
And then he is so socially challenged that they go and hang out with Alfred.
Yeah.
And Alfred does all the talking. And then Bruce Wayne keeps pouring Vicki Vale wine. She can barely stand up. Her words, not mine. I can barely stand up. She takes her shoes off. And she takes her shoes to stand up more, better because she is drunk. Mm-hmm. And what happens, Christina?
He kisses her and takes her to bed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She is so drunk that she can't walk up the stairs.
She gets winded walking up the stairs. I have it written down.
Yeah.
She gets winded up. So that whole thing you just said, I have written down here.
Yeah.
She's giggling, and when she's talking to Alfred, she's giggling. She's childlike.
Yeah.
She's has this feathery voice, super, super, super annoying. And like you said, she gets completely hammered. She gets winded walking up the stairs. And then he kisses her, and the next thing you know, she's in bed. What a fucking asshole, right?
Yeah.
What an asshole. Talk about date rape.
Yeah. Well, later on in the movie, she says, "And I slept with you. I can't believe I did that." It's like, I can. You were wasted. He basically sexually assaulted you. They're both sluts. They're both sluts. Bruce Wayne and Vicki Vale. Sluts.
Both of them.
But I was like, who watched this and been like, yeah, that seems like a good scene to have in this movie.
Yeah.
Bruce Wayne takes a drunk Vicki Vale and has sex with her. And of course, 1989, a different time. It doesn't make it right.
Yeah, no, date rape was a common theme in our movies that we've been watching.
I know, but it's now you watch it and you're just, my mind blown
so
away.
glaring now. That's one big difference of revisiting these movies.
That's right.
I think it's so glaring, the portrayal of alcohol and dating and women in general and like sexual assaults and sexual harassment. That is a huge thing that we revisit and we're shocked.
Yeah.
We're shocked about it.
Yeah.
The other thing too is they wake up, right, the next morning. They literally had one really terrible date.
Oh my God, I know what you're gonna say.
Do you? She acts like a total wife.
I have crazy stalker girlfriend.
Right?
They have had one day. Oh, what did you write? I'm trying to keep my distance.
She stalks him.
Oh, 1,000%. I'm going to jump to
my notes. Not a wife. Okay, let me be clear. It's not because... No, I'm not calling a wife a stalker. Okay, I am a wife, and I understand. But no, she acts like she's a girlfriend or a wife, and she's asking... You know, I don't know. She was just like all... It's like, you had one freaking date. Like, let it breathe.
How about this? So Vicki Vale is basically a stalker. Mm-hmm. She has had one date in which they barely spoke. It's a recap of a Pretty in Pink episode.
I was just thinking that. Absolutely, 100%.
This is
like the worst date in history.
This sounds familiar, yeah.
Worst date in history.
They barely spoke. She was drunk. He pushes her down on a chair and tells her to shut up. Mm-hmm. Remember that? And I just wrote, Vicki, let it go, girl. And then she says... One date, she says, I just want to know, are we going to try to love each other? It's like, love, honey?
Oh,
he
has
said
bad.
3 lines of dialogue to you in this whole movie.
Yep.
Love?
Well, and it goes the other way, too. I mean, of course, she stalks him, and she follows him in the alleys, and all this, takes pictures of him, and all this kind of crap. And then he is, like, all ready. After one date, he's all set to, like... tell her that he's Batman.
Well, Alfred walks her into the Batcave. This movie, how did I not catch how bad this was?
It was terrible. I know, terrible. That whole character, the whole relationship between the two of them, and I get she's part of the character, of the comic book or whatever, I could have done without her. Like, it should have just been about Batman and the Joker.
Much stronger movie.
100%.
Much tighter movie. But then, I do want to say, Alfred should be fired on the spot.
He's very... Yeah.
I mean, Batman's been Batman for how long? And he's like, lets Vicki Vale walk in there.
It's crazy.
I mean, he did everything but say, oh, Batman, Vicki's here.
Right.
I mean, right. I mean, like, just solve all the, give the whole mystery away. But I will say, I did forget there were actual bats in the Batcave. I was surprised to see that.
Yeah. I'm giggling every time you say Batcave.
So I do have even more to say about Vicki, but I don't know if we should jump around a little bit. But I will say this really quick. The apartment, Vicki Vale's apartment, the apartment scene, I don't really understand what the point of that was, other than for the Joker to think he killed Bruce Wayne. It seemed so weird. He shows... So remember, the Joker shows up.
Yes.
With this gift. And he has nothing but trouble. He is... First of all, Jack Nicholson, I have to say, I don't know how you feel. He is fucking... terrifying. I thought he was really good in this movie.
He's the best part of this movie. I loved him in this movie.
Top billing makes sense.
Yes.
I thought, really quick, this is a very passing comment, but like, I thought Michael Keaton was a bit of a snooze. I didn't really enjoy him. I don't think he was given much to do, to be honest, as Bruce Wayne. Mm-hmm. But I thought he was an effective Batman, but not Bruce Wayne. So, but the Joker, Jack Nicholson, he's really terrifying, but I never really understood what he wanted. Mm-hmm. Because I'm like, oh, he wants to be more famous than Batman. Okay. Oh no, he wants to kill Batman. No. Oh wait, he wants to marry Vicki Vale. Oh no. He just wants her to be his slave, I guess. Oh wait, he wants to control Gotham City, or no, he wants to kill everyone in Gotham City. And it's not enough to say, oh, the Joker's crazy. Like, it's not enough. You have to give villains a real reason. And the longer the movie went on, I don't even know if the movie knew what the Joker wanted. Yeah,
I never got that either. It was because even like when I was thinking about it, I always felt like it was, the Joker versus Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was, like, the I'm going to say underlying theme, but not really. That was the theme of this whole movie. But it doesn't make it clear. And so when he gets dropped in the vat of whatever the chemicals are that make him into the Joker, he blames Batman for doing that. But Batman was trying to save him. And he slipped. So it doesn't make sense to me that the Joker wants to kill Batman now.
Mm-hmm.
It was very unclear as to what was happening. Like, I know Batman was there because he was trying to catch the bad guys.
Right.
And that all went down that way. So I get why he was mad at Batman. But Batman was trying to save him.
Yeah.
So, it was very, very unclear. And again, the whole Vicki Vale thing, I don't care. Like, why was he after her? He had Jerry Hall, who's this beautiful, statuesque woman.
Yeah.
I don't know the appeal of Vicki Vale.
Yeah.
Was it because she liked Batman?
Yeah, probably.
Maybe it was because she liked Batman. Maybe he was trying to win her.
But did he even know she did? He only knew she liked Bruce Wayne?
Yeah, that's right, because he just saw a picture of her, and he was like, who's that?
Yeah.
And then thus begins the obsession with Vicki Vale.
Yeah.
So, it was very, very unclear. And again, I was just sort of thinking about it as a comic book.
Yeah.
And so the comic books typically are just like these pages, and they don't have a lot of backstory, and they don't really have a lot of character depth or reasons so much.
I should be really quick, because I want to be very clear. I don't think I've ever read a comic book. Have
right?
you?
Oh, no, not really. No, I mean, I've seen them, but I mean, maybe I've gone through one or two, but I'm imagining. Okay.
I was just laughing because you're like, comic book is like pages.
It's pages.
It's just pages.
How much character depth can you put in a little square?
My concern is that there are people that read comic books are listening going like,
well, by all means,
even talking?
Send us an email. oldroommatespodcast@gmail.com.
No, it's oldroommateспod@gmail.com.
You're right. Okay, so I really don't want them to email me.
Oh my
No,
God.
By all means, please argue with me. Explain to me what's going on with these stupid comic books.
Christina, stop!
You know what? Maybe I want to be a little controversial in this. Maybe I want people to, kind of react.
I am curious. I loved the Deadpool movies. I'm curious to read a Deadpool graphic novel or comic book, whatever the hell. But
my point is...
Your point.
My point is, I don't think there's typically a reason for the villain and the hero why they need to go after each other in a comic book. And this is related in this movie. That's why I chalked it up. Maybe
comic books, I'm sure they do. I'm sure there's a real thing, there's a ticking time bomb and the hero has to stop it. There's got to be more something to ground a story. This movie seems to just have setups of things to resolve. There's oh my God, there's really no thing. It's there's the balloons that will blow up and release all these gases into the air, which I guess would kill people or just make them fall asleep or make them zombies listening to the Joker. It's unclear. And at one point
someone said, they're trying to kill everybody.
Yeah.
I think Kim Basinger said that.
Did she scream?
She screamed and said, they're trying to kill somebody, and then screamed
again. So I wrote this story. I said, it's this is really what I wrote.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Joker's back. There's not so much of a story as there are just setups to action scenes. There's no real story. It's not even a cat and mouse game. Batman's actually a bit lazy in his pursuit of the Joker.
It is.
There are scenes where Batman's he's right there, but instead he'd rather vanish into the fog. It's or just show up and be a man and capture the Joker. Make this movie about 40 minutes shorter.
Well, what's interesting is he doesn't even learn until way late into the movie that the Joker is the person, spoiler alert, that killed his parents.
So that's funny. I wondered when he was hanging over the vat of acid or whatever the hell it is, I wondered, I was wait, why did he drop him? And you're saying it was an accident.
I thought it was an accident.
Batman is strong. I was a little surprised.
He's not a superhero, though.
No, it's not like superhero strength, but
He's just a guy holding on to this other guy who's falling, and I think he was trying to save him. I really do. Okay. That's the impression that I got.
Well, I wondered if he was trying, and then you realized who he was trying to save, and I was like...
He doesn't realize that it's him until he says that word, that phrase.
Really quick, one of the most effective scenes is the flashback. I liked when that actor, I should have looked his name up, the young Jack Nicholson character.
So good.
That was good. Like, that was
good
acting. It was good, just great casting, and that was a really kind of chilling thing. Jack Nicholson, has a lot of, like, good moments. Unfortunately, there's just not really a story there.
So I think if they had put the murder of the parents at the beginning of the movie, it would have made more sense. If it was more Batman trying to get the Joker, it would have made more sense. Or at least somewhere in the middle. Like you said, if you recognized who he was during that moment and let him go on purpose to kill him.
Yeah, that would be dark and deep.
Then it makes sense that the Joker would want to kill him, and then it would be more like a cat and mouse game. So it didn't make sense that he didn't know who he was before he dropped him in the vat. I wish it had worked out that other way. And maybe the fans of the Batman, franchise were forgiving because they knew the backstory already, and they had that sort of assumption that he did know or something. Maybe they're more forgiving in that way.
Well, you have to remember too, I'm sure you remember this, that when Michael Keaton was announced as Batman, there was a huge backlash. Like, all of the really big Batman comic book fans were like, this is a disaster. Like, he's a comedic actor. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. And it really did work out. In fact, I read that the feedback was so negative of Michael Keaton being cast that they wanted to release... Their trailer was a little bit sloppy, but they wanted to just get it out there to assure people that, like, you might think that, but it's going to look amazing. And it did work. And with the whole I'm Batman thing, that's like, I think it reassured people like, oh, okay, this is going to look really cool and really dark, which will give the Michael Keaton casting like some weight to it. It's not a comedy.
And let's talk about Michael Keaton for a little bit, because I know you had mentioned it before that you felt like it was a bit of a snooze and everything else.
As Bruce Wayne,
yes. I felt the same way up until about halfway through the movie. And it was funny because Matt was watching it with me, and he had mentioned, he's like, there's a lot of opinions about who's the best Batman, and there's a huge fan base for Michael Keaton, whatever. That, in fact, they're casting him, or is it a rumor that they're casting him for the next movie, or is it a done deal?
Oh, are you talking like currently, right now?
Yes.
It's what's his face? Robert Pattinson.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So there was a rumor
as of the recording of this episode, I believe it's Robert Pattinson is the next Batman.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I know that there was like a big thing about him revisiting this role.
Oh my God! Yes, I'm so sorry. You're right. That's really recent news.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So for the Flash.
Welcome to today, Brian.
Oh my God! Because wait, but that's not for a Batman movie. That's for a Flash movie. So they're gonna make the Flash a movie, and Michael Keaton is going to reprise the role of Batman. But there is going to be yet another Batman movie, and that's going to be Robert Pattinson.
Okay.
But then I heard that, I think that sort of fizzled away, that Ben Affleck was going to make his own Batman movie, because Ben Affleck was Batman.
Right.
And Batman versus, oh God, what the hell? Superman and Justice League. So there's a lot of Batman stuff, so that's I got confused for a second.
Yes.
So I believe it's for the Flash. There's talk that Michael Keaton will be reprising his role as Batman.
Okay, so my point is, thank you very much for that clarification, because I really didn't know. There's too much Batman. Just trying to get information on Batman on Google, it's like, Jesus Christ, can you give me the 1989 Batman, please? Anyway, there's a lot of love for Michael Keaton and his role of Batman. And Matt was like, it's not necessarily the role of Batman, but it's the role of Bruce Wayne that people, or that is the difference.
I agree with that.
Right?
I agree with that.
And so when he said that to me, I was thinking to myself, this is about halfway through the movie, and I'm thinking to myself, like, I don't think he's that great as Bruce Wayne. However, as it moved on throughout the movie, I liked him more. And the reason is because I bought into the fact that he is this loner. He's psychologically damaged. He is, traumatized. He's socially awkward. And I got that from the Bruce Wayne that's being portrayed in this movie with Michael, So I kind of bought it halfway through the movie. The one thing I didn't love, though, and I liked it, so it was a little out of character.
Besides the date rape.
Yes. See, that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
It made sense to me because he's socially awkward. I could see someone, he's probably never been on a date before. Yeah. I could see him not really picking up on those social cues that she's drunk.
So you are a Bruce Wayne apologist.
A little bit. I don't think it was right, but I think that I could get why he didn't pick up on the social cues.
Yeah, no, I see. I'm giving you a hard time.
So anyway, but the one part that kind of he slips back into Michael Keaton, like the comedic.
Okay,
role,
when? Yeah.
When he's in the apartment after knowing her for 10 minutes and deciding he's going to tell her that he's Batman.
Okay.
And he can't get the words out, which I liked the scene itself.
Okay.
But then she walked away and he's like whispering. He's like, I'm Batman. Like, that to me was funny.
Yeah.
But it wasn't Bruce Wayne.
That's right. Yeah. I agree with everything you just said. I really do agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's just kind of a dead, and I almost with the Kim Basinger thing, I don't know if I even blame him. I just feel like this story is weak and like the dialogue isn't great. And it's like, I just felt like, I don't know. It's not Michael Keaton's choice to, say, oh, it would be great if Vicki Vale's so drunk that I have to carry up the stairs to sleep with her. Like, I don't think Michael Keaton's calling those shots. But it's, but I think Bruce Wayne, I would honestly argue that maybe he has 20 lines of dialogue as Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, he doesn't have a whole lot.
It's very brooding. It's very him walking around in areas. I did have a note, like, he's a billionaire and, like, maybe pay a few people to clean up your city. There's litter and trash. You know I am about litter.
Oh, yeah.
There's litter and trash flying all around Gotham. Like, if he's a billionaire, and cough up some money, have a little actionable committee to clean up the city. He does nothing. He really doesn't do anything for Gotham. I mean, that's the thing. He puts his life on the line to fight crime. Maybe, like, pay a few bucks to have someone pick up the litter on the street.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Although I don't think he cares that much. I think he's just sort of like likes his own life of sitting around and again, it's not really clear why he decided to become a superhero. But
I think just to avenge the death of his parents and to fight.
But who was he? Like just
just to
like
fight crime wherever there was. Yeah,
basic.
Yeah. And I'm telling you this, and I do the Batman scenes, including the Batmobile. I like them. Like I really thought like they were like done very well, very stylish. We know all the all the information about like his suit was so heavy he couldn't even really turn his head. So it's like all of that, and I think they got around that pretty well. I never once thought like, oh, this is a bit ridiculous. Like, but it was like I thought the action scenes were good. I think it was the one really big negative is the plane. I think it looked very cool, but so it's like this plane can fly through the air, the greatest of ease. He has this clipper on the front of the plane that is like these scissors, which to me, the only reason why these exist would be to cut the strings of giant balloons.
Right.
Thank God. And
thank goodness they thought that ahead.
What a coincidence. So he flies through these giant hot air balloons filled with poison, and the Batwing zooms in, and he not only clips them, but the Batwing can hold them. The Batwing has the strength to the horsepower to fly these hot air balloons up to the sky into space and let them out and fly wherever they need to be.
Right.
Then he does this pose in front of the moon to show the bat signal, and then he flies down, The Joker is standing there with what looks like a cap gun.
Yes.
And the Joker, and I thought it was truly a joke, like, he has this little tiny gun, and it's like, bang. And he shoots what is basically looks like a friggin' BB pellet at the Batwing, and it hits the Batwing, and the thing almost explodes in the sky. It crashes on the ground. Batman has no ejector seat. Are you kidding me? Batman,
with all his gadgets, he can't have an ejector seat.
Or a bat parachute. He can't. Everything. And also, it's like a tiny little bullet. It was one bullet. One bullet brought down the Batwing. It's bullshit. Yeah. And it crashes. That was ridiculous to me.
A lot of the stuff is ridiculous. But again, I was looking at it through the eyes of a comic book. Which, that sort of thing happens all the time. Mm-hmm. Apparently.
Christina's never read a comic book, neither have I.
I don't know, I might have. I don't know. So, some positives. Do you have any positives? Because I have a few
well,
things.
Sure. I mean, listen, like I said, I love the sets, I love the cinematography, I love the Batsuit, I love the Batmobile. Jack Nicholson, I mean, it is really, like, he's just chewing up every scene as he should, as he needs to. I think it's really fun. I liked the gallery scene where she gets that box and it says, like, put this on now. And she puts it on and the room fills up with gas. I liked a lot of that scene.
Sure.
I despised when she throws a glass of water. And what is she thinking? What is this girl thinking? Yeah. She throws a glass of water in the Joker's face.
Well, she's stupid.
But that's why, like, what?
Unless she's at work, she's stupid.
And rightfully so, the Joker does this Wicked Witch of the West. Like, I'm melting.
Hilarious.
She runs over and consoles him.
Yeah.
And then turns his head, and the makeup's wiped off, and she sees the scars. And she's like, ah! And the other thing, Jerry Hall shows up, and her face is a little burned.
Yeah.
To be honest, I've seen worse.
Yeah, seriously.
I've seen worse.
She's still gorgeous.
Screams!
And she screams.
And Kim Basinger's like, ah! And it's like, I really wish I could scream like that. But I'm like, wait a minute, she's a war photographer. She screams. I would like to see her in a war zone. Is she just running around screaming
the whole
taking
time.
Pictures?
Somebody else take this picture. I can't, it's too icky.
Like, who thought this was a good...
I'm all done with that.
But I did like...
Vicki Vale, really.
I did like bits of that. And then fast forward to her apartment. I think that scene is before, or I can't remember.
I think it's after.
So he shows up at the apartment for really seemingly no reason to give her this gift. And Christina, if you have a friggin' psychotic madman in a purple tuxedo with a scary ass clown face who just shot your boyfriend in the chest in your apartment, and he leaves a box behind.
Well, of course I'm going to open it.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't I?
Right.
It's probably something really nice.
What could possibly go wrong? She fucking opens.
Did you think it was funny when she just fell to the floor?
Not really.
I did giggle actually when she just literally just drops to the floor. I just thought that was funny.
I don't know. I thought the whole thing was kind of stupid.
One of the things, well, obviously, again, like Jack Nicholson, to me, can do no wrong in this movie. I would actually venture to say, as much as I disliked the movie, I would watch it again just for the Jack Nicholson scenes, because I do feel like he was worth watching again. Mm-hmm. Some of the lines like that he does, just the fun way he kills people, and I know it's the character, but not everybody can pull it off the way that Jack Nicholson can. Just some of the lines that he had, do I look like I'm joking? Yeah. Yes, you do. Where does he get those wonderful toys? It's a famous line that he says. Just little things. And the way he presents himself, just the way he murders people. He's dancing and he's shooting Jack Palance and, all this. It's creepy, but funny. So entertaining. Well, so entertaining in everything that he was doing.
Yes, and what I did like was in the beginning when Jerry Hall says he's looking in the mirror and he's really vain, and she walks up to him and she's like, "You look fine," and he turns and he's like, "I didn't ask." And he's just like, really, and you get the sense of how vain he is. So the fact that he gets disfigured, is upsetting.
Yes, it is
also
upsetting.
I did like that sort of moment, that duality where it's like in the movie where you have Batman, who basically was created because the Joker killed his parents, but then you also have this more villainous, evil, murderous Joker because Batman disfigured the Joker. So it's like, I don't know, did they actually say, "You made me this way"? I wrote that down. I think one of them, maybe the Joker says, "You made me this way." And ultimately, and I think the movie ties it up very specifically, very pointedly to say, Joker made the Batman, and Batman, or rather, Jack made Batman, Batman made the Joker, because they both destroyed very important parts of their lives.
Right.
And now they're fighting.
And that makes sense. I just feel like it should have been more at the forefront. I don't know. I just feel like the murder.
It comes at
the recognition that he is the one that killed the parents should have come earlier.
Yeah, and I think because it's so built into like the lore of Batman, like that the movie should have been a little. I agree. If that information was front loaded, it'd be more at stake.
I take my statement back halfway.
Okay.
I feel like we didn't necessarily need to know this. The audience didn't necessarily need to know that he was the one that killed Batman's parents. But I think Batman should have known beforehand.
Okay.
So even if he knew beforehand, and then think about that, like if he already knew, and we didn't know that what happened, but he knew, and he was sort of pursuing the Joker, and it's kind of a mystery to us, like why is he pursuing the Joker? And then all that happened with the vat of acid, and maybe he did, let him go on purpose. And then we find out later the reason he's doing this is because he killed the parents. That would have made more sense to me.
Yes.
And it would have been more exciting.
Yes, but I want to repeat, there are scenes where Batman could have caught him and didn't.
Right.
Or like just even killed him and didn't. Or tied him up or shot him with a bat boomerang or something. I think there were more than a few opportunities where Batman could have stopped this movie a lot sooner, and it didn't happen.
Two things. Oh, sorry.
Should we take a little break? I need a little bit of water.
Yeah, let's take a little break. I have a couple things to go over, and then we can do the questions.
All right, awesome. We'll be right back.
Hey there, it's Brian and Christina. We just wanted to take this break to thank you for listening to Old Roommates, the only podcast that revisits pulp culture through a middle-aged lens. Please subscribe to Old Roommates on iTunes, Spotify, and wherever you listen to podcasts. And give us a rating or review while you're there.
And if you have any questions, comments, or observations, shoot us an email at oldroommatespod@gmail.com. And follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Old Roommates. Thanks for listening, and now, back to the show.
Keep busting.
That is, of course, the hit song Bat Dance by Prince for the 1989 film Batman.
Crazy. Terrible song.
Oh my god.
Terrible song.
There is that part where she's like, I'm Vicki Vale. Vicki Vale.
Oh,
oh my god.
So, yeah, and speaking of dancing, do you remember at the end when it was like kind of that big fighting scene on the roof?
Oh.
I mean, I know we said a lot about Vicki Vale.
Yeah.
Why was she so floppy?
Yeah.
Did you notice that? He's dancing with her, and she's like literally like ragdoll floppy.
No, I know.
I
think the whole thing was she was exhausted. I think he was just have you ever danced the devil by pale moonlight or whatever?
Right,
and I think God knows, they were probably dancing for a while. And also, how did did he drag her up the stairs? Like, he made her walk up all those stairs? I mean, maybe she was just wiped out.
She got wiped out from like just a basic set of stairs. So maybe you get something there.
She can't handle stairs very well. What I found funny about the tower scene at the end was he hits the bell crashes down. It's a gigantic bell. And Commissioner Gordon starts like trying to push the bell by himself, and he can't do it. It's like, really, you can't move it?
Wow, you can't move
the
that
bell is
1,000-ton bell.
And what's funny though is the other cops aren't even helping him trying to move it.
I think they know better.
No, I know. The Commissioner Gordon is just like,
he's a little
oh my
full
God.
of himself, I guess. That was a cool scene though when the bell fell. I liked the visual.
Oh yeah,
that
yeah.
cool.
There was there are a lot of great visuals. Here.
So 2 more things.
Yeah.
One is the speech. So when he's saying the speech to her about trying to tell her that he's Batman.
Yeah.
It was really interesting. He's like talking about the double life.
Yeah.
And she says, "Oh my God, you're married."
Yeah.
Did that remind you of anything? Another revisit that we had?
Oh my God. You're married. Oh, yeah. Big. Yeah.
It reminded me so much of that scene. It was almost identical in the conversations. Like, oh, I have a double, it's hard to live this double life. And then she's like, oh my God, you're married.
Which is cute, but he is a notable figure of Gotham City, and that would be common knowledge if he was married. Like, that's a little bit of bullshit. I mean, she's a reporter. She doesn't know he's married.
Yeah, really. Well, I don't know how well she does this reporting. The other thing that I wanted to just mention that made me laugh out loud is the Joker is poisoning all of these lotions and makeup and all of this stuff around town.
Oh, right.
The newscasters, when they're on TV, they can't wear all of this makeup.
Yes.
And they look, it's so hilarious because they all look terrible.
Yeah.
Their hair's messy and they have blotchy skin and they look tired. And
that was cute.
They did that several times, and every time it showed up, I was dying. I thought that was hilarious. I loved that.
I don't have that note, and yet I remember it, and I agree. That was great.
It was really, really funny.
All right, questions?
Well, I want to know, did you like it better or worse?
Yeah, I think I liked it. I liked it a lot less.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, I think as a grown-up, and because now it's like with Marvel, with all the Avenger movies and we've seen so many superhero movies that, it is possible to have a really tight, well-acted story.
With a story.
Without really, like a damsel in distress. Like, we actually have female superheroes that, because I think that got old for me right away, and with the Vicki Vale role. But, no, there was no, if you're going to have a villain, he needs a reason why. Well, he needs a goal. There needs to be a goal. And the Joker just had it seemed to have 11 different goals that changed depending on the plot, which made no sense.
Yeah. I would say I liked it better.
Oh.
Which is, it's not saying much. I really did not like this movie at all. But, the only reason is because I did look at it through the eyes of it being a comic book. And I think that helped me to like this movie. And of course, Jack Nicholson. I will say I didn't like the movie. Mm-hmm. I liked it better than I did before.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
There you go. So questions.
Christina, so I have an FMK for you.
Okay.
And I think I am being very, very nice.
Interesting. Okay.
Okay. FMK. There's more than 3 because once you, basically more than one person has to die.
Oh, okay. So it's F M
K.
Oh, Jesus, Brian! Did you do that on purpose?
I didn't say there were 3 Ks.
Oh my!
That's disgusting. All right, Michael Keaton, Val Kilmer, George Clooney, Christian Bale, Ben Affleck. And we have to talk about Ben Affleck.
Right. And these are the actors, or
I guess. Oh shit! Yeah, because the actors. They're
okay.
the
actors. I'll tell you right now, marrying George Clooney. There's no question there at all. I would do that any day of the week. So that's my marry. So we need an F and a K. Christian Bale might be my F. And everybody else can die. Yeah. Everyone else can die.
It was completely wrong.
Oh.
Yeah.
Are you going to say Ben Affleck for F?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was on the fence about that.
Well, you know why? Christina, if a twist of fate happened, you probably would have dated Ben Affleck.
That's true.
Or at least gone on a date with him. So, true story. I'm going to tell the story.
Go ahead.
Christina and I were at a club a million years ago called the Big Easy, right, in Boston.
Yeah.
And there we are. And at this time, you couldn't smoke in... You still can't.
Right.
But this was kind of new. The no smoking thing was fairly new. But you could also were not allowed to wear baseball caps, remember, in Boston. So you couldn't wear baseball caps in bars, or clubs, and you couldn't smoke. And so Christina...
it was like their fancy dress code.
Yeah, right, that's right. It was Boston. But it was like, so we were there, and it was me, you, I feel like it was a third person, I can't remember who.
It wasn't Karen?
Was it Karen? But so we were there, and the Big Easy was 2 floors, but the second floor was really more like a wraparound balcony looking down at the dance floor. So Christina and I were up on the wraparound balcony, and because you're not allowed to wear baseball caps, when you see someone wearing a baseball cap, you look at them because they're breaking the rule. And we look, and it is Ben Affleck with a couple of his friends. And Christina is standing, so it's like you're standing there, and I'm standing next to you or behind you or something. And Ben Affleck walks right up to your side.
Yeah. And
is he even smoking? I mean, he was noticeable. That's what the weird thing was.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, oh my God, Ben Affleck is going to start hitting on Christina. Like, it was just, like, it was going to happen.
Yeah.
And what happened instead was one of the least favorite sort of societal creations, the bachelorette party, walks up, this woman, she comes up to me and says, do you think he would give us, do you think he would sign my friend's shirt? So they thought I was hanging out with Ben Affleck.
Right.
And I said, I don't know, you could ask him. And she's like, can you? And I was like, Ben? And he's like, yeah. And she's like, can you sign my friend's t-shirt? And he's like, sure. And do you remember what happened? So I said,
yes.
Okay.
I remember. It was hilarious.
So he's writing something on her back. And so I'm pretending to read it. So I'm like, go fuck your... The girl's like, no, don't write that. Are you really writing that?
And he laughed.
Yeah. I made Ben Affleck laugh.
Yeah.
One of the highlights of my life.
So,
but that's the thing.
Yeah.
But that was the thing. This awful bachelor party created a scene around him.
Yes.
And that's what happened. And I'm telling you, my right hand to God, if that didn't happen, you would have at least had a date with Ben Affleck.
100%.
Because that's what that was shaping up.
It was shaping up.
He was trying to be sly. It was a dark area of that second floor. Yeah. And I know he was going to start talking to you.
That would have been amazing.
Yeah.
Yep. And that was right after he broke up with Gwyneth Paltrow.
Yeah, it was very... And he was drinking. We should probably say that. Because we know he has alcohol.
Yeah.
But no, but I mean, like, I don't... But he has had challenges later on.
Yes, for sure. But that was, yeah. And I guess I should have picked him. But you know what? He didn't pick me, so...
he would have. It was the bachelor
party. I totally... And he did, totally would have.
That was wild.
That was awesome. That was a fun day. I wish I could remember who else we were with.
I think it was just one other person. I don't know. Maybe it would have been Chris Madden. But I think we would have gone to a gay place. Lisa?
It might have been Lisa. It might have been Lisa.
That was a fun night, though.
It was fun. But I feel like, for some reason I'm thinking Karen, but Karen, it would have been over.
Oh my God, Karen would have been so loud.
She would have like,
she would have, like, people would have thought she was yelling fire. It would have been a nightmare.
Anyways, all right, so that was good. Okay, and how would you have chosen those?
Oh, so let's see. Oh man, I think I would. F. Ben Affleck.
I can see it.
Marry George Clooney, and I guess kill the rest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay, my question for you is, it's kind of like a straightforward question. Which of the following Batman gadgets would you most want to have? All right. And I'm going to give you a multiple choice. They're not all in the first one. It's just sort of like a blanket kind of thing. So there's the Bat Rebreather. So this is something, if you're underwater, you can put it on you so you don't drown, or if there's like a gas leak, you can put it on so you don't die.
All right.
There's a bat laser, you basically can cut through anything.
Okay.
The Batmobile remote, where you can he did it in
Pick me up.
89.
Yeah.
Shields. That's kind of fun. The grapple hook.
Oh, there's a lot of them.
Yeah, there's 2 more. The grapple hook,
yeah.
so you can kind of scale buildings and
sure.
things like that. And then the smoke pellets that you can throw and,
This is very easy for me. Oh, wait, do you know what I'm going to say?
Oh, I think...
Wait, I'm going to write it down.
I know what you're going to... I think I know.
Okay. And...
Am I going to guess?
Oh, I say it first?
Tell me
okay.
first.
Laser.
Really?
Yeah. You know why?
Why?
Because of my driveway with all the snow.
Oh, yeah.
I can blast the ice away with the laser.
That's true.
It would save me so much time. I'm too old to be shoveling.
That's a very good point.
Yeah.
See, I think, and you're going to change your mind, I think, after I tell you my reasoning. I thought it would be the rebreather. With all the COVID going around right now.
Oh, that's interesting.
You're a little bit of a germaphobe anyway.
Well, but the thing is, I don't go anywhere. So I don't...
But if you had the rebreather, you could go anywhere.
I suppose. But I'm going to stick with the laser. Yeah. I hate shoveling snow.
Yeah, I know. I agree.
We talked about this right before we filmed.
And your driveway, it's like you say, it's on like a hill.
Yes.
So all the water and snow and all that gathers at the bottom.
My God.
And it's literally like an ice skating rink.
It's terrifying.
It's so bad.
It
doesn't go anywhere. I can't go anywhere. Even if it melts, it doesn't go anywhere.
We have a lot of driveway and not a lot of spaces to put the snow. And I am running out of places to put the snow. And then what happens is we get these days here where it's like the sun comes out, it all gets warm, it all starts melting, and then the temperature drops at night and it freezes like an ice rink in my driveway.
You almost need to have I don't know if that would work because it's still going to gather.
Well, I looked at Carl found this article by Bob Vale where you pour rubbing alcohol on the thicker ice patches. So I did that; it worked. But otherwise, it's like this is awful to say, but that Roadrunner, it's like the one that's like better for the environment.
Yep.
That rock salt. We have absolutely used at least 7 bags of that, and we've. Since like probably January 1st.
So my first thought was a water vac, but that's not going to happen because you're going to just continually vacuum up water because you have to remove the water.
No, I know.
Because they'll just keep coming. And then my other thought was kitty litter.
Yeah, so kitty litter works for like grit, like for traction. Mm-hmm. We do get too personal. We have a tenant in our building, and like I would want him to have safety and traction on the way to his car. So. But I don't know. Kitty litter doesn't quite. I don't think it necessarily breaks the ice down to the effect of like the salt.
The way I'm thinking is when the ice is water.
Oh, to absorb it or whatever.
Absorb it.
That's good.
I don't know.
I'll try that.
You'll have to try a few things.
Anyway,
I guess that's it, right?
And that is it for us and for this episode of Old Roommates. Thanks for listening. Please subscribe to Old Roommates on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, and wherever you listen to podcasts. And give us a rating or review while you're there, please.
If you have an idea for the show or a suggestion or comment, you can email us at oldroommatespod@gmail.com. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Old Roommates. This is Christina.
And this is Brian.
Thanks again for listening. Until next time.